Good morning. Good morning. October 4th. October is here and the cold weather came with it and I love it. It's my favorite time of year. We call it hoodie weather. I'm actually wearing two hoodies today. I've got my hoodie shirt and then my hoodie sweatshirt. Probably too much information. I don't think anybody cares about that. But anyway, it is October and the chill is in the air and I love it. I'm not even going to go into saying how excited I am for my guest today because I say that every episode, but today's guest is somebody who I really have I'm interested so much because a lot of people who might be watching this know that I used to play in a band 20 years ago, a New Jersey pop punk band, and I have a lot of friends from back in the day. And so let me tell you about my guest today and why that all makes sense and how that matters. Becky Kovach, she works with Big Picture Media in New York City. They're a PR firm. She's been there for over 8 years, and she's worked with some of my favorite bands like Bayside and Midtown and some others. And she just went to Riot Fest in Chicago with Midtown. And for those that might be listening to this from a business perspective and have no idea what I'm saying right now, to me, it means a lot. And if you are familiar with like the late 90s, early 2000s, even till today, pop punk or punk music scene, that is cool. And she gets to work with these bands. So we're going to talk about that. So without further ado, let's bring Becky up here. Good morning.
Hi.
All right. Becky, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I am also very excited about the cold weather. This is my favorite time of the year. So I'm in a great mood today.
Isn't it the best? Like, I love it when the first chill is in the air.
Yeah, I too am wearing a hoodie today.
I love it. We're matching.
I love this time of year. It's my favorite when it starts to kind of get cooler out and we get towards the holidays, and I don't know, there's just something fun about it.
It really is. Like I like Halloween. I like the chill. I
Mhm.
like football. Like I love the whole deal. Like it's just so good. I hate sweating. So
Same.
so it's kind of nice. All right. Well, cool. Welcome to Meet the Experts. I kind of gave you a brief intro, but tell us a little bit more about Becky and who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So I am a senior executive publicist at Big Picture Media. We are a New York-based PR firm. We kind of specialize in music and entertainment and events and things like that. I've been with the company. It's been about 8.5 years at this point that I've been here full time. I also interned for 2 years prior to joining the full-time staff. And I work as a publicist, so I work with a bunch of different bands. I have my own roster of clients that includes artists like Bayside and Midtown and Simple Plan. Um, and basically, we act as our artists' hype people. We talk them up to writers. We try to get people writing about the things that they're doing. So whether that's new music or shows, or literally just like anything that our artists have going on, we try to get people talking about it and talking to the artists about it.
And one of the things that's awesome about that is my friend Heath Saraceno from Midtown recently it's not so recent anymore. We've been talking for probably 6 or 7 months about it, but recently when Midtown decided to get back together, I talked to Heath and I said, Heath, I want to live stream an interview with you guys and it'd be great to catch up. And Heath was totally into the idea and he's like, but you got to talk to Becky. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So that's how we met. And it was cool.
Yeah.
And then we did the interview with 3/4 of Midtown about a month ago. And what a blast that was. And so thank you again for letting me do that. You kind of touched on this, but about being the hype machine and some of the things, but like if a band wanted a PR firm or they needed a publicist, like what are some of the main products and services that you can really help a band with? Maybe go into more detail.
So largely what we do is we set up a campaign around something specific that a band is doing. So whether that be releasing a new album or even just a single or music video, if they've got a tour or like a special show coming up, we set up a campaign around that. So that can be anywhere from like 1 month to 6 months, depending on what it is they're doing, what their timeline looks like. And within that time frame, we send out pitches to writers, trying to get them to review any new music, set up previews for any upcoming shows. If there are shows, we also try to get people out to come and take photos and review the performance. as well as setting up interviews around whatever it is that they're doing. So we help coordinate any phone or Zoom interviews. We, gather email interview questions and we pass those along and make sure that the questions get responded to in a timely fashion. We also kind of gather all of the links of coverage that's gone live within the campaign. So we have a whole reporting system where we send reports every 2 weeks throughout a campaign. We send daily and weekly updates. And then at the end of the campaign, we take all of that and we create a press booklet of all of the coverage that the artist can then kind of take if they're looking to sign with a booking agent or a label or, find a manager. They have this concrete look at all of the stuff that we've accomplished within the campaign.
That is really cool. So you're kind of like the gatekeeper, but you're also probably the first person or company that an aspiring band should come talk to.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people kind of overlook the importance of PR, especially in the music industry. It's something that's constantly changing, even within the 8 years that I've been a big picture. Like the way things were when I started is very different than how they are now, and the types of features that people are looking for is very different. But yeah, I think that PR is super important. It's a great way to get people talking about your artists. I know that, search engines and the algorithms there are super important to bands, and you want your band to be kind of popping up when people are searching their name. And having great press pieces is a huge part of that. So yeah, I think PR is super important. And when a band is looking to kind of take their music and what they do to the next level, PR is somewhere that's a great place to start.
I couldn't agree with you more, because as a digital marketing agency, we have businesses that want to get, want people to they want their name to come up when people are searching them. It's it's really no different. It's just a different industry. And the cool thing is that a lot of these media outlets and news sources and online magazines or blogs, they have a lot of domain authority with Google. So somebody like Brooklyn Vegan, who's got a lot of domain authority, if you get interviewed in there and somebody's searching the band, like that article's going to come up near the top just because they have that domain authority. So it's looking at putting or maybe alternative press, they're going to rank very high. That article might even rank above the band's website, because the domain authority is so much higher.
Right. And then when you have new fans that are trying to search for the band on Google and trying to learn more about them, you want those things to pop up.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Okay, awesome. So this is one of my favorite questions. Typically, we talk about a win or a testimonial, but I think what's really cool is in your industry, in your profession, it's got to be really rewarding when a band comes to you and says, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. What you did changed our lives in some way," right? Whether small or big. Have you ever had, is there like one time somebody's told you what a great job you did in a way that was just like mind blowing?
For me, I think it's about being able to land those publications that are kind of like bucket list or like dream publications for a client. So anytime a client says to me, "Hey, this specific publication is something that I would really like to try and go after," and then being able to get that for them. It doesn't always happen. PR is a very there's no like formula for PR, but when it does happen, it's the best feeling in the world to have them say, "Hey, this is awesome. This is everything we were hoping for." Like earlier this year, I was working on a new album from a band called Pollyanna, who is actually on I Surrender Records. That's Rob from Midtown's label. And one of our very first big features was on Paper Magazine. And for a band, they're still kind of getting started. They're still building their following. This was a huge win for a band of their size and something that was very cool. And the feature was super well done. And the whole team was really excited about it. So something like that is something that I get very excited about because I know how much it means to them.
I like that. It's personally rewarding and professionally rewarding. Yeah. And you're making a difference in this band's, in their lives, which is huge. I love it. All right. I got to ask you this. So you're a senior executive publicist. Like what goes into that? Like, how did you earn it or learn it or become a senior publicist?
So like I said before, I've been with Big Picture for quite a while now. I started interning with the company when I was still in college, and I had always wanted to work in the music industry, but I didn't know in what capacity. I was kind of leaning towards journalism because I was always a writer And when I started interning at Big Picture, I realized that this was what I wanted to do. This was a great way to combine my passion for music and my passion for writing into one. So I started out as a junior publicist at the company. I was assisting two of the then senior publicists who were with Big Picture at the time. And I kind of just soaked up as much as I could from the two of them. They worked in very different ways, had very different methods for organizing and, keeping track of their campaigns. And I think juggling two different rosters like that had a big role in making me as organized as I am now. Because there are so many moving parts in PR, even just within one campaign, that when you're working on 20 different ones, you have to figure out how to stay on top of things. So I think I learned a lot from that starting position and being a junior publicist, so that when it came time for me to become a publicist in my own right and have my own clients, I was ready to take on my own roster, and I had the tools and the skills that I needed to do that. And having been a Big Picture as long as I have, I've just kind of worked my way up through the company, and now I help oversee other publicist campaigns at the company. And I've been able to kind of step into more of a leadership role just because I have been here as long as I have, and I've kind of seen it all and done it all. So I guess just like time and trying to learn from everybody around me and take those skills that I see from other people and applying that to my own campaigns and my own roster. And that's kind of led me where I am now.
That's like the greatest answer, because a lot of people are like, well, I went to school for this for 4 years, and then I did this, and you did something that I think you just gave a lesson to probably everyone who's trying to figure out what path to go down. Is like the way to really learn something and the way to really get into it is just be really nice and cool and friendly and helpful and try to deliver value. And like really try to be a part of that team and get to know people in a way that isn't so self-serving. Like, hey, I'm really here to help. I really want to learn, and really just jump right in. It sounds like you kind of dove into it, and that led to bigger and better and bigger and better. And you're actually getting real on the job experience, which is so much better than schooling is going to give you, right? So
yeah. And I did not study PR in school. I studied English and American literature, which yes, that's great for the writing skills, but it's not necessarily going to teach you how to be a publicist. Everything that I've learned on the job, and from working with all of the publicists that have been at Big Picture over the years, and working with all of the different management teams and labels, and just seeing how different people do things. And my own methods for doing things and staying organized have definitely changed over the years, but you evolve and adapt and you learn new things, and you kind of just take it all and make it your own.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So I didn't go to college. I mean, I took a couple college classes. I taught myself HTML in 1996. That goes to show you how old I am. And just, from there, it turned into, web design, web development, learning a little bit about graphic design. Then I got into sales and marketing and management and leadership. And it was all just from on the job. Yep. And then eventually I found that my calling was in, running a digital marketing agency. And here I am 10 years later. And so I think that anybody that's watching this that is kind of maybe like just trying to figure out what they should do, like find something that seems interesting to you and go for it. Just chase it. Just do the best you can to and be cool about it. Don't just go in and say, I'm going to conquer this, or we're in competition. Like, make friends and grow together. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think going into things with the mindset that you are going to learn along the way is the best thing that you can do.
Absolutely. In my agency, we talk about always trying to deliver value in advance. So always try to be the giver before you expect anything in return, and just try to deliver, always try to give some value, because people will remember you and they'll thank you. And then it eventually does come back. Like, I truly believe that givers gain. So trying to go in there and learn and say, hey, I'm open-minded to learning. I'm open-minded to helping, to contributing, yes. Without worrying too much about, but you got to pay me all this money, or you got to do all this, is really fruitful and awesome. Right. So you're now 8.5 years into this. You've done it like this is your career, right? As of now. And for hopefully as long as you want it to be. What is something, so we slow things down here. What is something you're really thankful for?
I'm honestly thankful that this is my job, that I get to call this my job, and every day I come to work and I'm sending emails about bands that I love. I have been super fortunate in the time that I've been at Big Picture to work with so many bands that I actually grew up listening to. Like if you had told me 8 years ago that one day I'd be working with Midtown, I would have said you were nuts and I would never have believed you. But here I am. I get to email with Rob Hitt every day about I Surrender Records, and then also send out pitches about Midtown playing shows with My Chemical Romance. I mean, I love Bayside. I've loved them since I was 15 years old, and I have a Bayside tattoo.
That's awesome.
And it's just the coolest thing to get to come to work and, write about bands that I grew up with and bands that made me want to work in music in the first place.
That's a dream job. I was thinking about this the other day. You know what I think about, it was yesterday, as a matter of fact, because I was thinking about this interview with you, and I was like, there are so many, I don't know. I was like taking a rewind of my own life, and I'm like, instead of leaving the band and trying to go do all this stuff, like I would have loved to be in the position you're in right now. Like, I think that too many people overlook the fact that you don't have to play in the band to work in the music industry. Like there's guitar techs, there's roadies, there's merch people, there's tour managers, there's booking agents, there's PR. Like there are so many things that maybe somebody who just loves music or loves a scene or is passionate, like you said, you've been a Bayside fan since you were 15. Yeah. And now you get to work with them in Midtown. I feel like if you wanted, like, I'm almost giving my 24-year-old me a lesson in life here, is like, if you want to do it, like, I just thought the only way to do it was play in a band. Right. But now looking back and having learned so much about what goes into all of the production, lighting, sound, recording. There's so much, right? So yeah, so that's pretty awesome. And that there's just so many different ways. So if you're watching this and you're like, use Becky, we're going to use you as inspiration. Like just find a niche. Maybe you're not a musician. Maybe you are, but you don't want to, you're not going to put in that kind of work. Like go help somebody, go help a band, befriend a band, and that you think is doing something, or just get good at a skill and go for it. Right.
Yeah. There's so many moving parts in the music industry that people don't think about. Within touring, within recording, just there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. Yeah. And there's so many different roles and so many different ways that, like, if you want to be in the music industry, you can do it. You just have to find the right fit for you.
I love it. So by the way, I didn't have this up on the screen, but we're gonna start winding up with Becky. So I got the website there, bigpicturemediaonline.com. If somebody wants to reach out to you, is that the best way, or is there other ways somebody could maybe a band wants to reach out and just or maybe an aspiring PR person wants to reach out and just ask you some questions?
Yeah. So our website does have a contact form on it, which if you're interested in reaching out, you can do that. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. At Big Picture Media Online, or at Big Picture Media on Instagram, and then Big Picture NYC on Twitter. We also do have a great internship program if anybody is interested in PR and kind of looking for a way to get their foot in the door. I run our internship program. So if you want to reach out, it's Becky at bigpicturemediaonline.com. But yeah, I mean, we're anywhere that any social media, we're there. Just reach out.
I would hope so, right?
Yeah. I promise we're super nice. If you send us a message, somebody will get back to you.
I absolutely love that. Becky, thank you so much. I know when we first spoke, it was like, well, you hooked me up with this thing. And by the way, I have this show. Would you be interested? And you signed up right away. And I can't wait to get you the video. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
Absolutely. I'll make sure to get you the files when we're done. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to Becky right now. But Becky, hang out backstage for just a minute and I'll be back with you. But thanks again for joining us.
Awesome. My pleasure.
All right. That was awesome. Getting to talk to Becky was fun, very fun because, like I said, it was almost like a bit of a passion nostalgia project along the way, and I'm so glad that she decided to join us. I think it was a really refreshing episode of Meet the Experts. If you're watching this and you do something fun, cool, you got a cool product, got a cool story or service, you want to tell your story, down at the bottom, I've got a link. Just go to guests.howto.agency. Guests.howto.agency. Costs you nothing to be a guest. I'd love to let people tell their stories. It's one of the ways I try to give back to the business community that has been so good to me. And like I said, it's value in advanced content, right? Like just trying to put some content out there into the world. Our next episode is a week from today, so be on the lookout for the events and all the pop-ups that are going to come your way this week. But until next time, I'm Jay Vix with howto.agency, and we'll see you next time. Take care.